Have you ever felt that urge to eat everything in the house before you promise yourself you'll finally change and change tomorrow or Monday, right? Or the first of the month or the first of the year. But you got to eat it all the food first. And then you only end up feeling stuck and wondering if real change is even possible. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. Today is episode number 652. The topic, all the food. All right. Once again, welcome to the JoLynn Braley Show, or if this is your first time listening in, welcome. I'm JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of my proven proprietary step-by-step coaching system, the Inner Self Diet. I have been coaching amazing clients through it since 2009. I've seen it work every time as long as you do the steps. Nothing works if you don't follow instructions and do the steps. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever gotten like a piece of furniture, that kind that you put together and it gives you the instructions and you're supposed to follow them, but you don't want to follow the instructions. You just tell yourself, oh, I'm going to figure it out on my own. And it shouldn't be that hard because here's some screws, here's some bolts. I can just put it together. And then you end up with, kind of a mess. And then you have to take it apart and go back and follow the instructions. So if you just are willing to commit to yourself, to take action with something that you've never done before, because what I coach my clients through is not a food diet. 92.8% of the problem, if you're struggling to heal your eating and lose weight for good, 92.8% of the problem is your mindset. It's how you think about yourself, about food, about the process, about your body, about the weight loss journey, the whole kit and caboodle. Get your mind in the right place, get a weight loss mindset, and you're going to just be able to do what you already know works for your body to get that weight off and keep it off. I've seen it work over and over and over again. But what we're doing here today on Free Weight Loss Podcast, episode 652, is we are talking about all the food. Have you heard that phrase that a lot of people are using? They're like, all the things, right? And so I was thinking, all the food. And I have totally been there more than once with all the food. Oh, before I go into this, before I keep going, I have an awesome free thing for you. Go opt in at weightlosswednesdays.com. That's www.weightlosswednesdays.com. It's 100% free. And you're going to get motivation, inspiration, and insights each Wednesday for free in your email inbox to help you stay on your weight loss journey. And you're going to get this free for an entire frickin' year. Totally free. You really have to keep yourself going and stay the course of your journey, because the only way that you're going to reach your goal weight is if you stay consistent and you stick with it. You can't quit. Do you know what I mean? So go to weightlosswednesdays.com for a boost once a week. Why not? It's totally free and you're going to love it. So back to this topic of all the food. I have absolutely been there more than once. That's the place where you tell yourself you're going to start over again. You're going to start over again on Monday. You're going to make this fresh start. You already know how to eat, how to live, how to manage your healthy food, healthy lifestyle. You've done it before. You've lost weight. You might have even gotten to your goal weight. You know what works for your body. But You can't stop binge eating. You can't stop emotional eating. You can't stop comfort eating. You keep diving into the sugar. You probably have a sugar addiction like I do. You just can't get it together to, you know, stay with your healthy eating plan. And you have a problem with perfectionism also. Like I have had I've had a problem with perfectionism. Yeah, definitely. And so you want to make this fresh start on Monday or on the first of the month or on the first of the year or at some other time. It's never now. It's always later, right? Before you can do that, though, you have to eat all the food. And what happens when you eat all the food? Well, first of all, are you able to really eat all the food or is there always more? Because how do you eat all the food before you start that fresh start? How many times have you told yourself you were going to eat all the food, you were going to finish all of it, and then make this fresh start, but as soon as you ate all the food, then you got more. You went to the grocery store or you went to the drive-through and you had leftovers and then you still had this. It's a goal. It's a self-sabotage for sure. But you tell yourself, oh, well, now I have more food. I have to eat all this up. I have to eat this food. I have to eat it before I can start fresh. Either because you tell yourself the excuse that you paid for it, or there's starving children in China, so you better eat all the food before you get back to healthy living. It's all an excuse if you really get real with yourself, if you really get totally honest with yourself. There's a lot more going on underneath, and that's really the stuff that you're going to want to get to heal that and release it so that you can break free of this cycle where it's always later and it's always this fresh start. But first I have to eat all the food. And there's no end to it, is there? Because if you're thinking that, oh, well, I want to have those Little Debbie oatmeal pies before I get started again on my weight loss journey, but then as soon as you eat the Little Debbie oatmeal pies, then it's something else. And then it's something else. And then it's something else. Have you ever experienced this? You must have experienced it. Otherwise, you wouldn't still be listening to me, right? And isn't it extremely disappointing, debilitating, demoralizing, depressing? And what happens? What happens? Where do you end up? You know, maybe you even did this at the beginning of the year. At the time of this free weight loss podcast recording, we are in April of 2025. So that's January, February, March, April. 3 months. You could have potentially dropped 8 times 3 is 24. That's a very reasonable 2 pounds of fat loss per week. Okay, nothing crazy, nothing, these weird things that tell you that, 5 pounds every week or whatever. No, we're just being totally realistic and normal, right? So you could have potentially dropped 24 pounds since January 1st. But what really happened? And I'm saying that if you made a New Year's resolution for yourself and you were going to make this fresh start and you had to eat all the food first before you could have that fresh start, and then maybe it turned into, well, I've got to wait until Monday because January 1st was on a Wednesday. And so that's not really ideal, is it? So then we're moving into January 11th. Or no, I'm sorry, January 6th. That was Monday of 2025. What are your results? And this is not a question to ask yourself to beat yourself up, because then what will you do? You'll probably go eat more food to try to make yourself feel better, right? Asking yourself, where am I at? What are my results? What do I really want? Where do I want to be in August? Where do I want to be 6 months from now? Do I still want to be dealing with this same old stuff that I've been dealing with for 10, 20, 30 or more years? These same patterns, the same thing over and over and over again. So when you stop and ask yourself and you really get honest with yourself about what your results are right now and where you really want to be 6 months from now, then what are you going to need to do to achieve that? And usually the first answer is, oh, well, I just need to get back to my diet. I just need to, do that. But on Monday, not right now. I got to do it on Monday. And then what's going to change? If you can get yourself to get back to your healthy diet right now, right here today, no matter what day you're listening to me talk about this right now, here on the JoLynn Braley Show on this free weight loss podcast, if you can get yourself to get back to your healthy eating right now, right here and now, if you don't address your mindset, if you don't address your food stories, if you don't address your limiting beliefs, if you don't go underneath this, then what is really going to change? Because how many years have you told yourself that you could just start over and get back to your healthy diet? Einstein, he had a definition of insanity, and what it was, and what it still is believing that you can do the same thing over and over and over again and doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting to get a different result from it. So if all these years you've continued these same patterns and beliefs and actions or inactions that have never really gotten you to the place where you have created a healthy relationship with food, where you have gotten to your goal weight and you've kept the weight off and you feel great in your own skin and you feel normal with food and you feel like it's not that big of a deal anymore. You're able to live your life. You're able to live a healthy lifestyle. And sometimes you eat things that are not, the healthiest, but that doesn't send you into a tailspin and you don't regain all the weight. It doesn't turn into a huge binge and then another 6 months to a year of, binge eating, emotional eating, stress eating, comfort eating, mindless eating in front of the TV every night. You're just able to stay at your ideal weight, show up feeling great, and it just doesn't feel like a big deal. But here's the thing. I've only heard this from my coaching clients who graduate my proven step-by-step system, and then they get to this place where it does feel like no big deal. And they look back and they think to themselves, how did I do that before? How is it that I was so stuck? And I don't even relate to those negative thoughts that I used to think about myself and the negative beliefs that I used to believe about myself, about weight loss, about my body, about food. It's really hard for me to relate to who I used to be. I know I used to be there, but I've gone through such a transformation that it just feels normal and natural for me to live healthy and fit, But see, you really only get to that place if you go to the foundation of what drives your eating, your unhealthy eating behaviors, these patterns, the places where you get stuck. And there's no quick fix for this. And obviously a food diet doesn't fix it, because if a food diet could have fixed it, why would you be spending any time listening to me right now? You know what I mean, Jean? Because if a food diet could fix it, all you have to do is do the food diet, right? And then what would be the problem? You just do the food diet, you get the weight off, and you keep it off. No big deal, right? But obviously there's more to it than that. There's more to it. Quick example, let's say that you believe the thought that Weight loss is too hard. Only other people can do it, not me. I can't lose weight. Well, that's more than one belief. Let's just pick one of those. So let's say that you believe I can't lose weight, but you still want to. You're listening to me right now, but if you have this belief that I can't lose weight, guess what's going to happen? You have to prove your beliefs to be correct. Because if you don't prove them to be correct, then that means you're crazy. Because how could you believe I can't lose weight and then you go lose 50 pounds and you keep it off? It's a total mismatch and it would drive you crazy. So you have to change those negative, unhealthy, limiting beliefs in order to fully break free. And a really big problem with this is that most aren't even aware of what their limiting beliefs are, because all of this stuff has just been there in a river for so long of unconsciousness that you don't notice it anymore. Just like when you drive to work each day, do you really have to think about which way you're going to go? Or have you done it so many times that it's just unconscious and you just, you go with the flow? You don't have to micromanage it or anything, right? When you have these negative limiting beliefs and they are the foundation of your weight loss journey, doesn't it make a little bit of sense why you always end up falling backwards? So the key is to have that inner transformation, to really go for it and transform yourself from the inside out. And like I said a few minutes ago, there's no quick fix for it. My coaching clients break free in 8 weeks or less. So clearly there's more to this than just what we can talk about here in, 20 or 30 minutes on my free weight loss podcast. And you have to have two-way communication. If you really want to do this as fast as possible, it requires two-way communication, and you have to be able to get beyond your blind spots, which all of us have. We all have blind spots. And if you can't see your blind spots, how can you get past them? That's why coaching is so valuable and highly sought after if you have the right coach, of course. You don't want to have a newbie coach who's like a general life coach or something. You want specialization to help you get past these problems that have been plaguing you a lifetime. How would that feel if you really could break free? How would that feel? What is one thing that you got out of today's free weight loss podcast? Just one aha. If there's even one aha that you got, you can move forward and build on that. If you take action to move forward, thinking about things, it's never enough. The only way that transformation comes is through consistent action. And of course, you have to have specific action steps to take. If you want help to do that, and you'd love to find out if or how I might personally be able to help you, and if you are fully committed to your transformation, you're not willing to put it off any longer. You're not willing to just think about things. And it makes sense to you that mindset, what I talk about, what I share about, mindset is 92.8% of the solution. If you love what I have to say, but you need to have the steps. You have to have the guidance. You have to have the accountability. You want to take action. If that's where you're at, go apply for a complimentary weight loss discovery session with me. Get started with that at discovery-session.com. Discovery-session.com. If you're not fully committed to your transformation right now, if you just want to take a baby step, that's cool. Go sign up for weightlosswednesdays.com. It's totally awesome, totally free, and it's a great positive step forward. You'll love it. I'm JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of my proven proprietary step-by-step system, the Inner Self Diet. Universal law states that the inner and the outer always match. Become who you want to be on the inside to match that up with who you need to be on the outside to get to your goal weight and stay there. And then this whole thing is just going to become no big deal. I wish you your best life living inside of your ideal body.